How can you defend yourself from those who want to hurt you? And how should you treat those who have hurt you? We often find ourselves facing malice, hurt, and hostility from people in our lives. We can be hurt by colleagues, our friends, or even some family members. But the who matters little. What really matters is the harm that these words can do. Every time we are offended, we are wounded in spirit, more or less large lesions that leave permanent scars. If you listen to this Zen story until the end, you will be able to protect yourself and find peace of mind, developing a winning mind. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share the video. Thus, you will help us produce new content every day for your spiritual growth. Deep in Japan, surrounded by the thousand-year-old trees of a forest, there was a Buddhist temple, an ancient oasis of peace and quiet. Here lived the great Master Kaido, a man of immense wisdom and piety, capable of illuminating the path of his listeners. One evening, the young monk Jin expressed his disappointment at the offenses suffered by those who had trampled on his kindness, wounding him deeply. Master Kaido, Jin said, "The Buddha teaches us to be compassionate towards everyone, but how can we also be compassionate towards those who offend us? It is not right to be constantly mocked and used without any consequences for them." Master Kaido, with a reassuring expression, invited the young monks to sit around him. Then, he picked up a shard and threw it into the pond. Continuing, observe the water and notice how the gesture of a single, even small, shard influences it. The young people watched with interest as the expanding ripples reached the banks of the pond. Just like these waves, continued the Venerable, our actions and reactions influence what surrounds us. However, we need to understand when it is better to leave it alone and when, on the contrary, it is necessary to intervene. The Supreme One remembered a story that directly involved the Buddha and decided to tell it to his young listeners. One day, during his journey, the Buddha was approached by a man who poured a river of insults and threats on him. His disciples, troubled, thought they were witnessing a reaction from the Buddha, who instead remained calm and silent, without showing any signs of offense or resentment. When the Buddha walked away, one of the monks was amazed by the Venerable One's reaction and asked, "Supreme Master, how did you manage to maintain peace after so many evil words? Why did you prefer not to answer, since you were the right one?" The Buddha, his face reflecting his inner calm, replied, "Imagine that someone offers you a gift and you decide not to accept it. Whose gift then would it be?" The young man then replied, "If I don't take it, the gift remains in the hands of the one who offered it to me." Just like the gift, the same thing goes for insults and mean things. If you don't take them with you, if you don't respond, they will always remain with the person who expressed them. It is important for you to remember that ignoring the provocations of others is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. It's like hurting ourselves, hoping to hurt others. In the end, we are the ones who suffer the most. The young monks, in deep silence, meditated on what they had just heard and on the important teaching of not responding to the provocations of others. Master Kaido, to better explain the transmitted dogma, led the young monks to a peaceful corner of the monastery and continued to speak about human suffering. Those who inflict pain, those who for any reason seek and want to cause suffering to others, are prisoners. Prisoners of torment and dissatisfaction. He is far from true happiness because his soul is veiled by feelings of anger, envy, bitterness. And what do you think about this topic? Leave a comment and let's talk together. Remember to like and share it. Thus, you will help us produce new valuable content every day. This is one of the most difficult teachings, but if you continue listening to the video, more truths will be revealed to you. It wasn't so easy to understand with your heart what Master Kaido wanted to teach. Remember the moments in which you felt happy and fulfilled in life, continued the Supreme. Did you feel the need to hurt those around you to feel better? The response was an eloquent gesture of denial. That's the key right there. Authentic happiness doesn't come from hurting others, but from nurturing the flower of love, empathy, and inner harmony. So, my young students, when we are mistreated or hurt, it is essential to take a moment and remember these three teachings. The first is the wound metaphor. Responding with equal or greater anger will harm us more than others. This is because those who offend us want to see our reaction. If he doesn't get what he wants, he will be disappointed and start thinking about his actions. The second lesson to remember is that if someone acts like this, it is because their soul is filled with sadness and dissatisfaction. Those who are serene, those who want to grow in spirit, are focused on what makes them serene and not on what can hurt. The third teaching is that when we are offended or hurt, the best thing is to continue on our path, as the Supreme Buddha did, feeling empathy for those who have hurt us. The disciples, touched by Kaido's enlightened words, began to think about how to apply them in everyday life so as to find inner peace and emotional balance in the face of adversity. One of them, expressing the common thought, asked, "Master Kaido, I am deeply grateful for your teachings, but it is difficult not to respond to certain insults. When someone leaves such deep scars, most of us react without thinking or suffer too much to remain unmoved. How then can we improve ourselves to make it easier to achieve serenity with ourselves and with others in order to continue our journey?" Kaido, happy with the question, observed the young monks and replied, "It is natural to find it difficult not to react to these behaviors. For this reason, my dears, I would like to share with you what I have learned on my journey. First, it's important to develop your self-awareness. Before responding to an insult or wrong, it is crucial to understand your emotions and thoughts. Anger and offense do not arise from our soul, but from instinct. If, however, we listen to our spirit, we would understand the situation better and prevent it from getting out of hand. Practicing patience is a training that must be done daily. Patience is the virtue that leads to peace and serenity even in the face of the greatest provocations. Learn and practice meditation. Give yourself space and time to allow the seed of peace and patience to grow, germinate, and flourish. When you are offended, take a deep breath and reflect. You will avoid instinctive reactions that would only cause more pain. Focusing on empathy is another very important aspect that must be put into practice on a daily basis. Especially when someone hurts us, it is important to remember that the person offending can be moved by pain or ignorance. Training in empathy will allow you to look beyond the action to its spirit, thus responding with love and not anger. Also remember that nothing lasts forever, including negative events. Bodily life is too short to be guided by the desire for revenge and immediate justice. One's spirit, however, is forever, and to raise it, it needs the wings of inner peace and love for others. Furthermore, my young disciples, there is always good. Even when it's hard to see, seek it and focus on it. Be positive towards life so that you can overcome obstacles and not let the hatred of others affect your heart. The disciples were preparing to express their gratitude to Master Kaido for these important teachings, and the Venerable One looked at them serenely and happy to have traced the path for their spiritual research. He added, "Make this dogma your own. Those who offend or do harm are not strong. Evil, strong is the one who does not react and ignores offenses. Ignoring those who harm us does not mean running away or being weak, but having the strength necessary to respond with peace, empathy, and serenity."